What a game, what a challenge. We've come to the SA gather round. We've got to find something within. As an industry, we've got to find something within. We're never going to make it. 25 goddamn years Tom Bull's been hearing the story, ringing in his ear. We're in the entertainment business, he said, just like the AFL. What I want to talk to you about is how are we going in growing this game? How are we going into developing the next generation? What sort of data are we collecting? What sort of difference are we driving? Because we have to compete. We're competing on so many fronts globally, it is amazing. And I want to roll you through a bit of that. I want to think about the top end of the industry first of all. What's the mission? AWI, MLA, if I go with MLA's mission. Where I'll give them a pat on the back. We've doubled from 3.5 billion to 7 billion the gross value of production of our product. That's where you bring it in modern day, we pat each other on the butt. The Zulu farmers in 1900 competing for land, the battle for acres. Crawley, we're getting pants, mate. We're absolutely getting pants. Bring it in, mate. I'm telling you, mate. I am telling you, son. We're in trouble here. 1990, 11 million acres of crop, 175 million sheep. Today, 22 million acres of crop, 75 million sheep. And mate, I don't even know the count in the crop. One forecast tells me 70, the other one tells me 80, one tells me 36 million ewes, the other one tells me 46 million ewes, mate. We need leadership, we need discipline, and it's going to come from you. We can do it. Now let's get to the broadcast industry, where the broadcast rights are, the processes, how we're travelling. They've been part of growing the game, growing the market. They've done some good things. But wow, what about the signal to Shaun the sheep? We get one single, mate, and that's growth. Load up with tall forwards. Conditions are perfect every day. Just load up with tall forwards because that's going to get you there. That's what you're paid on. That's our crappy market signal. I said to some people in the industry, what signal are we getting? Is it VHS quality? And one bloke I respect, he said, I'll tell you what we're getting, Trompfy. We're getting one black and white game per week back here in the western New South Wales. We're not getting any coverage. So we've got to improve that. And we can learn the same conversation, same timeline Tom Bull commenced over 25 years ago. The same conversation was had in beef. What's amazing in that time, didn't happen in the first 10 years, didn't happen overnight, but once from 1998 it commenced, 2013 MSA index came in. From that point in the last 10 years we now have 200 beef brands that represent 60% of the beef slaughter today gets MSA feedback. Now I'm jealous of that. I'm looking at Chelsea. I'm sick of talking about feedback, mate. You got Alki Hockey sitting together. We're all part of the team. That's worth 330 million a year. Farm gate to the beef job. Packer. He's a feisty little player in our team, I tell you. But he punched me out some numbers. Current kill, 25 kilos carcass, 50 cent premium on half the lamb. It's only worth a cool 170 million to our industry. But we're miles off at this point. We are miles off a value-based marketing system. But dream about the day when we get there and suddenly we have clear market signals. Clear market signals where we can balance these different traits to perform on farm and to deliver to market specification for the market UQs. And I'm putting the globe up there as a happy day. Stuff Wagyu, Berkey, we're going to share the lamb, mate. You're the best voice in our team, we're going to share the lamb. Wagyu's a prick of a thing. I ran them 20 years ago. They're the worst on-farm product you'll ever find. We're going to do better than that in sheep. We're going to compete resources. We're going to compete for climate. We're going to compete on a welfare-friendly basis. We're going to do it with a better beast and still have a top-quality product. We can do that. The challenge is going to be to deal with, once we've moved beyond, be careful what you wish for, it doesn't set off good things for me and for my team. In fact, it brings the hackles up on my back. We've got to wish for it. We've got to want continuous improvement, And the only way we get there is having some goalposts, understanding our goals, understanding our points, and when we're out in the full. And this is where the challenge starts. We've got to help Sean the sheep tune in and respond to those market signals. That's what we need to develop now, is the connection piece to be able to capitalise on that. And that's the bit, again, I'll refer to beef. I watch my mates in beef, they send a B00 to steers off if they've grass finished them, and they look at their MSA index feedback. They get their histogram. It's exciting stuff. You know what I've seen happen in the Angus industry? A heap of them have halved their days on feed. So they used to feed over 300, now it's about 150, 160. They give you a high quality product at lower carcass weights early in life. We don't have to all do the Wagyu thing. It's a prick of a maturity pattern. It's too slow on farm for a lot of us. But we still can create and play this quality game by having an animal that is adaptable, versatile on farm and can make a happy earth. There's a whole range of different opportunities that Mingle's got to coach us through in this. But the problem is with this, is we're having enough trouble extending the messages we've got, let alone having a whole new lot of signals. And this brings me to, we've covered the leadership of our industry, we've covered the broadcasting rights, and we're shifting from black and white to colour TV on the broadcasting rights. We're going to get there. But the next bit is our coaching panel. We got some serious problems in the coaching panel, the extension part of our industry. MLA engages 14,000 red meat producers per annum. It's out of 220,000. Do the sums at 6%. It's about half of the early market. It's a drop in the ocean. We've got consultants, like the one talking to you, drinking their own bathwater, mate, as far as the impact we're going to have on this industry. We've got to come up with a new strategy. We've got to come up with what I call a barefoot doctor strategy. Because there's other networks in this industry that have 10 times the penetration. We've got to move from, fuck the agent, he's no good. We've got to work with this other team of assistant coaches, barefoot doctors. They can triage the patient. They mightn't be fully qualified to give him every lot of antibiotic to get him around the corner. But they can probe, they can cajole, they can support adoption. And you know what? Their penetration is around 60%, 10 times what we're doing up the bathwater end of the industry. Have we ever really sat down and worked out how we can turn that into a positive? Not to mention the wool brokers and the back alleys I've been up with them. 50 farmers in South Australia taken by a wool broker, similar to the one on my hat. 51 farmers actually. One scanned for multiples, one scanned wet dry, the other 49 are looking at me like this. She's a wide brown land. We've got to expand the coaching panel. And until we do that, until we get depth of penetration in this team, this slide you've all seen me put up, to go from more lamb loss to core lamb loss, 30% back to 12 to 15%, lamb loss, it's worth $1 billion in lost profit to the Australian sheep industry after the cost of production. The whole bloody industry's only worth about 7. But that's a pipe dream, Trompfy. That is completely a pipe dream unless we can plough wider and deeper. We have to work on this. We need a deeper coaching panel. We need more support. And we need to be able to coach a farmer that's productive and adaptable. If we're going to go down this route, we heard about the importance of continuity of supply. We can't be sitting there saying we want clear market signals and then we're fair weathermen in return. And continuity of supply is going to require some aggression. A little more attack than Ross Lyon. This is the problem with him. He'll never win a flag because he battens down the hatches too much. We've got to get the right balance between attack and defence on farm. That's our challenge. But I reckon the market signals, Elkie, can help us get there because we'll shake the animal up. We'll take the top end out of the growth curve. We won't have a team full of tall forwards only. We're going to have animals, just like the modern day Angus, that is more adaptable. We've got to invest in these banks. And I know the bottom bank's struggling at the moment. But if we can get back together, connect, invest, work together through a time like this, we're going to teach each other things and fabric that'll carry us in the good time. That's what we need to do. That's what creates belief within a team. You look each other in the eye and you have what I call superficial trust. That's what I got from the taxi man when he brought me here. And I said, what am I doing? I said, I'm a farmer. He said, I ought to kiss your hand, mate. I nearly fell out of the car when he said that. I thought he lived in part of Port Adelaide that I don't want to go to. And he said, you're one of the most credible groups of people in this world. And I sat and I thought about it. I thought, yep, but that's coming off that blind trust. That's coming off the fact, he's a farmer. He's doing the right thing. We've actually got to build true belief in people that are nowhere near that. So as a group of farmers, I'm feeling for you, because you've heard all about advocacy. You've got to juggle all these balls and produce to specification. So at least give us some market signals, at least give us some depth of support in the coaching and help us to move on. Now we get to the bit that really gets me excited. Now we get to the bit where we've got champion data, as in cheap genetics. Now we get to the bit with the recruiters, which are the ram breeders that are giving us the next generation. Pat on the pack, Bradley. 50% using ASBVs. We've had double and rated genetic gain. It's delivering $80 million of profit per annum. Great. But I tell you what, we've got a whole lot of new traits coming at us. We've got to measure that balance of performance. But the bit that champion data needs to work on, the critical bit, and it's not champion data's fault, but they collect data from a lot of people that are living in a disjointed arrangement to the rest of the industry. They collect data from farms that are typically non-resource limiting environment. It's with ad-lib feed and ad-lib labour. I was once booted up the arse for calling it Gilligan's Island. What I'm interested in is out in the mainland, where we're farming these sheep. The sort of thing that Daniel Shupan painted the picture for me of South Australia this year and what they're going through right now with their early weaning. Super challenging. What we've got to do is learn to correct our stats so we're not counting forward 50 entries. So what we're counting is the relative economic value of that trait in a resource limiting environment. John Young did a brilliant piece of work on this, and it was done quite a few years ago. It's never seen the light of day. And it said that in a resource limiting environment, compared to a non-resource limiting where there's ad-lib feed and labour, the wool indexes of that time, the merino indexes, were overvaluing wool cut somewhere between 40 and 60%. It's an example of a resource savvy trait. We've got to get the balance right. Just like growth, we've got to get the balance right. So champion data, that's your challenge. The challenge is soundly back to the ram breeder. At the end of the day, to grow this sheep industry, we're competing for resources, and most of us are living in a resource-limited environment, which doesn't live with foot trimming, which doesn't live with mulesing shears, doesn't live with shedding your rams, doesn't live with managing ewes to condition scores that are beyond what we do commercially, given that 80% of the ewes in the country don't have their nutrition managed or tailored to their requirements. We've got to get our team of recruiters into the real world. And I'm waiting to see the day, beyond the one or two I know, that put their hand up to do it different. You're looking at an enormous number as amount of them that are foot trimming, and it's not one or two toes. In a lot of places it's every foot and every ram. It just doesn't line up with when we're battling for resources. I want to see you lead in that space. It's going to take teamwork to bring this industry together. It's going to take gelling, it's going to take compromise. It's going to take heartache for some. So Crawley, bring it in, mate. From you, we need serious leadership. We need you to be able to roll with the punches. When some farm leadership group tries to batten you down, we need you to just hold the course. Mingles, you're the connecting small forward, mate. You're the one that's going to drive continuous improvement here. We've got to drill it through the sticks. That's what we need. But don't give me that shit about be careful what you wish for, because I can only get better, you can only get better if you give us a signal, give us continuous improvement. We want it. We're thirsting for it. Now coaches, Redden, Howie, bring it in. All you consultants with your shiny boots, bring it in. We've got to learn to collaborate. We have to. It's like agricultural education, same thing. I hear condescending comments from those that got their ag degree compared to the ones at Longy or Marcus Oldham. I call bullshit to that. We need a next generation of a whole tier of players, and we need to support a new way, a barefoot doctor strategy where we're all on the same level, we're helping each other, we're connected, and we're making a difference. I think I've said enough to sheep genetics. Bradley, champion data, you can do it. I don't want any dishing up any more shit on stats that don't count. It's too important. Tell us what counts, lead us, give us direction. Now, ram breeders, I can see them. I can see them in the audience. Stop doing what you think's important. Stop taking that option a little bit like Charlie Curnow is at the moment for Carlton. He looks bloody good. He's a dazzling footballer on his great day. We need you just to turn up. Turn up and present that animal in a condition that we can interpret it in our commercial farms to make it different on our property. If we can do this together, there's no criticism of one or the other. We have to unite. United, we win this match. Divided, we fail. And that message goes across the ditch as well. We need to work with the New Zealand sheep industry as well as our own to take things forward and turn what is potential into reality. What I want you to do is practice what we've been taught, and I want you to reach out to one another, our customer and our industry. Thank you.